Welcome back everyone to Heroes and Villains HQ. My name is David and today we're going to take a look at the Cyclops Marvel Legends figure from X Factor. This one's going to pair perfectly with Jean Grey, but before we crack them open, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below to stay tuned for more content on my channel. But without further ado, let's take a look at Cyclops. Okay, before we take a look at the figure, let's look at his packaging. He is in the square box, the new box we've seen from Marvel Legends in Black series on the X-Men series, and this was a part of a Build-A-Figure wave, specifically Marvel's Nemesis. You can obviously see all of the accessories included here with a bunch of nice effects, as well as the Build-A-Figure part. Moving on to the side, you have some art from the comics of Cyclops in the X Factor uniform. On the back, you have the description, another piece of art, and then the Build-A-Figure showcasing what characters you need to collect in the series to finish this one off, including Nightcrawler, Gambit, Marrow, Husk, and Fabian Cortez. And by doing that, you would get Marvel's Nemesis. Lastly, on the side, you have the same art and then the name Cyclops. So enough about the package, let's get him open. All right, Cyclops is now out of the box, and similar to the X Factor Jean Grey, this figure is awesome. But of course, let's start with the accessories. The first part is the Build-A-Figure part, one of the arms for Marvel's Nemesis. It does have a detachable tube, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this. After that, of course, we do have a pair of swappable hands and a swappable head. This one specifically allows you to attach laser effects, which there are 2 laser effects included. First one attaches to the head just like that, and the second one attaches to the first laser effect. Unfortunately, these end pieces here are very flimsy, and you can see one of mine has kind of warped. So that is a concern, but if you're looking on it dead on, it looks great. Okay, now let's spend some time on the base figure here. He has all of the updated articulation you'd come to expect. You have the double jointed knees, which go all the way back. You do have boot swivels as well as the rocker ankles. Standard thigh swivels. You do have a full 360 degrees of hip rotation here. A really great ab crunch. You can already see that the double jointed elbows look great. You have bicep breaks and you have butterfly joints that go pretty far back. And then your standard head articulation. With all of those points of articulation, you're really going to be able to get Cyclops into some crazy and dynamic poses, which is great, especially given those laser effects, which will really enhance the display. For the paint application details, he's just got a standard blue and yellow color scheme with a little red in his visor there. I will say the paint up in the upper chest here kind of bleeds. It's really tough to see, but the lines aren't as crisp as they are, say in the legs down here. So that is one thing to note, that the chest area, those lines, again, aren't as crisp as they are on the lower body. Also, the color scheme there are some discrepancies between the parts. So obviously this is painted on, but the boots and the forearms are different pieces. And then the yellow in here is different from the paint and from the boots and forearms. So you're getting kind of a three different tones of yellow throughout this figure. And unfortunately, you can almost kind of see it here because blue and yellow, make green. You can kind of see it start to bleed together there, especially in the forearms. I don't really see that issue anywhere else on the figure. It's really just the forearms, but that is unfortunate just from a quality control issue, not being able to get those crisp lines without any sort of paint bleed. Overall, even from a 1 foot distance from your face on a shelf, this figure is going to look totally fine. Taking a look at the swappable accessories here with the head and laser effect and the different hands, you can see already the added benefit these bring to the figure and just upgrading that shelf life. Now, one thing I will say about his laser effects, the main beam here, it is textured and ribbed on the bottom. However, it's completely flat on top. I would have liked to see it be ribbed on the top and the bottom. The reason it's ribbed on the bottom and not the top is so, of course, you can get the straight up pose. However, I do find that a little unfortunate. Adding in the kind of blast effect at the end of the beam, it looks awesome. Don't get me wrong, it really does. But it makes this figure very heavy in the front just because of how far away it is from the head. So you're going to be dealing with some issues. Obviously, I don't really have him in a pose that's conducive to the weight. However, you are going to have to fiddle around with the legs and the arms and the torso in order to disperse the weight evenly so that this effect, if you want to display it this way, doesn't weigh the figure down, front forward there. Again, I already mentioned sort of the flimsy edges of this effect here, but I think it really looks great. So what are my final thoughts on the X Factor Cyclops? Definitely a great action figure from an articulation and accessories standpoint. You're going to be able to put a ton of different poses on your shelf, and with the different laser effects, you're really going to be adding in some action to your display. Now, during the review, maybe I just have a dud of a figure. I do have some quality issues. I kind of see 3 different yellows. There is some paint bleeding. Also, a little bit of green in between the yellow and blue. So I don't know if maybe I just didn't get a great version. Maybe this is just an issue for me. However, if this was a larger issue with this figure release, I'm definitely going to knock it for that. Hasbro makes a ton of money. They should have the quality issues and the paint issues under control. So as for recommending this figure, if I do truly have a dud, this is a cool Cyclops and one I'd recommend you get. However, there are a ton of other Cyclops X-Men figures on shelves currently. Even the X-Men 97 release is, I believe, getting a re-release, and it's going to be a part of Wave 4 next year. So I don't really necessarily think you have to pick this Cyclops up over other ones on the market. And if the quality issue is more than just my figure, then I definitely would pass on this version and pick up something else. Maybe the Jean Grey Cyclops 2-pack that goes up for pre-order this September. That would be a really great one to pick up. So if you are desperate for a Cyclops, this is a cheap and ready to buy version on Amazon. But again, quality issues, I don't know. I would definitely check out some other reviews to see if it's a recurring issue. Thank you all so much for watching this Marvel Legends review. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons down below. You can stay tuned for more Marvel and Star Wars content on my channel. Again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.